Some breaking developments now coming in, and this is a CNN News 18 exclusive courtesy our investigations editor Manoj Gupta. CNN News 18 will now decode for you as to why Canada is having a restrained approach or response as far as the Khalistani issue is concerned. We're now understanding, and this is what we heard from the External Affairs Minister as well, that this could be because of compulsions as far as vote bank politics is concerned. We're also now understanding top intelligence sources telling us here at CNN News 18 that Canada is trying to please domestic constituency as well. Our colleague Anand is now back with us in the newsroom. So Anand, we heard the External Affairs Minister speak, mincing no words. He said relations have been impacted between both the countries because the response has been constrained. It's possibly due to vote bank compulsions. What are sources telling you? Why is the response being so guarded from Canada?
Well, Canada is actually saying that India's interference in Canada's affairs is the most. That's what they have tried to say. This was the response of Subramaniam Jaishankar to that comment itself. The reality is the number of letter rogatories or LRs and the number of extradition requests that we've sent across to them, it's a huge file. And Canada has been sitting on it for a while. Let me take a few names.
Sure.
There is Goldie Brar. There is Lakhwinder Singh Sandhu or Landa. There is Hardeep Nijjar, who was gunned down by assailants. There are other Khalistani people involved with the likes of Babar Khalsa International and Khalistan Tiger Force like Arshdeep Dalla.
Sure.
Arsh Dalla. They are all present in Canada. What they are doing is they are actually co-opting these young kids or youngsters who are migrating from Punjab into Canada. And this entire generation born after 1984, born in the 90s, are being given a particular a skewed narrative about Bhindranwale, skewed narrative about what happened back then, this entire Khalistan or K movement. And a lot of them are going there and not finding employment. They are being co-opted by these gangsters into their gangs. They are being pushed into the drug trade. They are being pushed into the arms trade. They are being asked to do these odd jobs. Plus, they are also part of this entire 40% of the entire logistics business in Canada has been now controlled by the Sikhs. I'm not saying all Sikhs are part of this K group, but these K groups have infiltrated there. A lot of the K sympathizers also are now in Canadian politics. So they have become a strong vote bank and they have tried to corrupt the entire narrative altogether. So much so that they are doing a lot to harm the Sikh community and their own stature. A lot of them some of them are also going there and saying that we are all doing humanitarian aid and humanitarian work, but going down and ground and softly peddling this entire K narrative. Nobody understands the K narrative clearly. It is clearly a secessionist movement. That's why India is concerned. It is trying to say that we want to carve out a separate state out of Haryana, Himachal, Punjab, Indian part of Punjab. But it does not talk about all the Punjab that Pakistan is squatting on. All the major religious places, Nankana Sahib, Kartarpur Sahib, they're all over in Pakistan. The Pakistanis are nowhere part of this separate Sikh state at all. So clearly it's a political narrative. It's been pushed by the ISI. But these people have been entities who've run away, who've been there for a while and who are operating from there. Goldie Brar's concern is a larger one also, because Goldie Brar is closely associated with Lakhwir Sandhu, with Babar Khalsa International, but he's also a gangster who's running these gang operations with Lawrence Bishnoi. The NIA charge sheet just says they had nearly 700 shooters under their. So they are doing the same thing, the same modus operandi what they are trying to do in Canada. They have done here also, where they have looked at teenagers and in people in their early 20s. They have co-opted them, given them quick money, given them a gun, a false sense of bravado, and got them hooked to drugs. And run these operations. This is where the issue is. And because they have become a big vote bank there, and you have some politicians who are actually backing Justin Trudeau, so that's why they said local geopolitical compulsions is forcing Canada to ignore a larger concern that directly attacks the sovereignty of Bharat.
And that impacts relations between both the countries as well. Anand, we'll have to leave that conversation there. We also have activist Puneet Sahani now joining us on the broadcast. Puneet, good to have you with us here on CNN News 18, and thank you for patiently waiting. How do you see, the response that is coming from the External Affairs Minister? He's minced no words. He said that yes, relations between both the countries have been impacted, and that has been impacted because of a restrained or guarded response that we've seen from Canada.
Right. Jai Ma Bharati Ruchika. Thank you for inviting me. So, sorry, there is an echo coming, but I'll come to your point.
We'll just try and fix that.
I appreciate Dr. Jaishankar's statement. And, the thing is, But I would have liked him to be a bit more specific. To give you example, so for example, the greatest atrocity, terrorist atrocity in Canada was this, like plane bombing, which happened just a few days ago. There was the anniversary of it, right? The anniversary was a few days ago. All these politicians, they've given a statement that this was a national calamity, a natural calamity, that this has happened and this should not happen. But who has done it? Nobody even had the courage to say that the Khalistani terrorists have done it. So these Khalistanis are not just vote bank. I think they're more a pressure group than a vote bank. But this is what has happened. So, when they took out this parade of Mrs. Gandhi, being shot by a Sikh bodyguard.
In Brampton,
you see, right. So again, and we raised a noise and, it became a news. But the only, the politician, his name is Pierre Poilievre, the national politician who condemned it. He didn't condemn it on Twitter. He went secretly and went on his website and wrote it. So he has done his job, but he didn't want to get, this Khalistani blowback. Then I had to take a screenshot of his website and put it on the Twitter that he has done it. So this is what they are playing with the lives of Canadian citizens.
You've been tracking these developments very, very closely over a long period of time. As you rightly pointed out, we've seen a sudden increase as far as these episodes are concerned. What we saw in Brampton, where the tableau of the assassination of Indira Gandhi was carried out, various consulates have come under attack, temple attacks have also increased. Are we suddenly seeing an increase as far as these episodes are concerned?
No, Ruchika, I give you a very cogent example and you will understand what is happening. And I even sent this screenshot to your producer, if you can put it. So just few days ago, there was a Hindu kid, young kid, he's a bartender, he's not political. And I found through a friend of a friend of a friend that he just said this Khalistanis had blocked the road. And he said, if they want to make Khalistan, they should go to India, or are they want to make Khalistan here? He has said nothing. And this some Khalistani loon, she took out, this is his name, he works here, let's destroy him. And that guy is completely traumatized and nobody came to his defense except, I made some noise on Twitter. But that guy, they put his picture, they put his name, they put his job. And trust me, they would have destroyed even the business, but the business was owned by a Sikh. So they were like, let's get this guy fired, but please don't write bad reviews. So this is what they do to an average, Indian or something. And this is the bullying they do. And I think it is a big shame. I think the Indian consulate should have come out. Like, this is the harassment that is happening. But no politician, whether from India or from Canada, spoke in his defense. So this is how they terrorize everybody into submission.
When the External Affairs Minister says that relations have been impacted between both the countries, we feel the guarded response by Canada is because of vote bank politics. How do you see that comment? Do you think there is a compulsion as far as vote bank politics is concerned, and that is why we're not seeing the Canadian authorities be more stringent?
No, Ridhima, like he has said, impacted. I want to see the outcome. So like in international, everybody knows, you don't even name the terrorists who have done it. So what are you doing? We share high commissioner level relations with Canada, which is the highest. I think we should degrade it to charge the affairs level. I actually want to see action, not statement that they have been impacted. I want the diplomatic relations to be degraded by this country, which is doing, what Pakistan was doing with America. They have become basically, you do terror incidents from here. And you use this state and the state to inflict terror on India. And this is what Captain Amrinder Singh has said, I don't know how many years ago, that Canada should be put charged for terrorism, abetting terrorism.
So considering the fact that India is now not mincing words and also saying that we do know there is a restrained response coming in from Canada and relations are being impacted, will we actually see Canada take some more stringent action? Puneet, we'll have to leave that conversation.